Welcome to The Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And today's show is brought to you by the Pilsner House and Beer Garden. Go visit our friends at 1422 Grand Street. Have a pretzel, have a watermelon salad, have those ribs, have an absolutely great time. And today we are at a different location. The person to my right is not a different person. She is our Places Insider, Daria Peace. Daria, how are you today?
As much as I love my new last name, you got to find a way to say it with that emphasis.
I was going to do Daria Peace.
You got to emphasize the first name now.
Exactly. We're actually in one of Daria's old hoods. She used to live in this hood
right
across the street. We are at Jefferson's Coffee, located at 534 Washington Street. And Josh Sotomayor Einstein's going to have a very, very exclusive interview with the owner, J.efe, here in the next segment. And I'm sure he'll forget the address here because, well, let's just face it, he's a But anyway, moving on. Daria?
Hello.
After that?
What a great segue.
What a great segue, right? Exactly. Anyway, Daria, we are bringing back your Places title, let's just say here.
Yes, we're branching outside of Hoboken.
We certainly
and our
are.
local areas, and we are talking about...
Where are we talking about?
Today we're talking about Dallas, Texas.
And everybody knows.
My recent trips.
Exactly. On one of her recent trips, and you can follow her at Hoboken Eats to check it out. Everybody knows how big of a Cowboy fan I am.
Yes.
And I visit there all the time. But Daria, I really just go for the game, and I'm not taking in the scenery and the restaurants
the food,
there.
The ambiance,
Yeah. Talk to me why you went down there first.
So we went down there. For anyone that follows me, they'll see that I always go on a weekend Rangers away trip. And so this year, it's my husband and his mom always went. I got looped in, and now the whole family goes. So the whole family went down to Dallas for a Rangers and Stars game. Mom, Dad, Mildred, Matt, the whole crew.
Wow,
yeah.
The whole crew. Did the Rangers win that game?
Oh my God. Did we win? I think so. Obviously, we had to have won.
By the way, those are like the two keys to my heart when it comes to the sports world. It's the Rangers and Dallas because the Cowboys, right?
Yep.
Oh, man, so much fun.
But I got to say, though, Stars, listen, nothing compares to the Garden, but my favorite traveling game was American Airlines Arena.
In Dallas.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
And as many Cowboy games I've been to, I've never been to the arena.
It's lit.
Wow. It's right in downtown Dallas,
right
which
in
is
downtown.
Gorgeous, by the way. Yes.
So we got there. We always fly in. We fly in Friday night, and we left Sunday, afternoon, evening. So the game was on Saturday. So we, did a few things. We saw around town, which I can fill everybody in on. But what I liked the most is around American Airlines Arena, they had all of these bars right there. And they had a live band performing AC/DC and Metallica, my favorite kind of music. So it was really cool how the town really, this little area of the town came alive. And so we stayed right there. So we went to this bar called the Happiest Hour first. So we did a little bar hopping, Matt and I left the old folks behind and we went bar hopping. We went to the Happiest Hour where we had nachos.
I don't know. I think Mama and Papa DeLucia
they get after it.
I was going to say, I'm sorry.
They needed to start a little bit later. We started a little earlier. And mind you, it was St. Patrick's Day weekend.
No way.
So the town was bonkers.
Was lit, like you said.
Lit.
She's throwing all the Jersey Shore words today because that's where she went to school. I mean, all right. So you did the little bar hopping. You weren't there very long, though, correct?
No, not very long at all. And so it's one of those, you land Friday night, you go right to bed, you wake up Saturday morning, picked a banging breakfast spot. We went to the Henry. There's a brunch spot there. Yeah. So the area we stayed in too, it was more of residential areas because we wanted to stay right next to the arena. Gotcha. So we went to the Henry for brunch. Very cool, very cute ambiance, massive. It seemed like everybody was there to start to get food in their stomachs before they went drinking because everyone had the St. Patty's Day gear on. So went there. They have everything. I mean, we had spicy tuna topped with crispy rice. We had dumplings, French toast, crumb cake, burgers with eggs on it, rice bowls. They had literally everything. So anything you could have been craving, they had.
I'm salivating.
I know.
I'm salivating.
My
Great
mouth
coffee
is
here.
sticking a little bit.
Right, exactly. But now you're just making me starving.
I know.
Oh my God.
I know. It was a really good spot, and it was a good place to start the day off with. And then we kind of walked around a little bit. We ended up walking into a very big St. Patrick's Day party.
Nice.
Yes, but I don't feel old normally. I was I think they're all 21. And you have to pay to enter. I'm past that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm past that move.
This is Daria
Yeah,
Peace,
no.
formerly
Well,
Lucia.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We
She
stopped
ain't
paying for stuff
anything.
at 25.
Well, amen to that. I completely and utterly agree with you. Okay, so
Yeah.
that was during the day on Saturday. The game was Saturday night, I'm assuming,
Yes,
correct? Did you guys do a little bit of a dinner before or after the game?
So we went to the happiest hour.
Oh, I'm sorry. You did
for
say
some
that.
margaritas and some green
Gotcha.
beer. Had like some chicken wing, boneless chicken wings. I think they're chili, little spicy chili sauce on them. And we had some mozzarella sticks. And we went over to right next to the arena, this place called Heroes.
Okay.
Heroes Bar, massive. This place for Sunday football, I can only imagine.
Oh man, they say everything is bigger in Texas, right? Yeah, absolutely.
They do not lie. The screens, the place, everything was just massive. So that was really cool, really fun. And it was cool to be like, I don't know, we enjoy going to places where we're like the kind of the outsiders. People, heckle us, but Matt and my dad and his mom are good at knowing everything. So they go back at them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then you were there to Sunday. I'm sure Sunday was the flyback day, correct?
Well, Pecan Lodge.
What?
Have you heard of it?
I have not.
It's like the #1 barbecue place probably in America.
No way.
Definitely in Dallas.
In Dallas.
And
Wow.
there's this place, pro tip. There's a line to get a table inside, but the outdoor tables, the benches, first come, first serve.
Okay.
Ray Ann spotted one of those, boom.
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 Mom, we love you.
She's like, get me a Pinot Grigio. So Ralph went and got her a Pinot Grigio, went inside. We got everything from ribs. And when I tell you ribs, like massive. Like, I don't know, monster cow. I don't know what they were.
It was so massive, she pulled the microphone away from her mouth for about
They
5 seconds there.
They were so big. The mac and cheese was this big.
Oh.
I had a sandwich that had jalapenos, brisket, ribs, sausage, and coleslaw on it. That was my sandwich.
Right.
We got a pulled pork sandwich, a brisket, like everything. Everything.
Oh my God.
Not the meal to get before you fly home.
I was going to say, did you have any like baked beans or anything like that?
No, we didn't have any of that. We had some pickles with it. It was nice. But this place is like famous and well known. And it's on a cute little strip. We actually, it was like, reminded me of Hoboken. It was all bars, restaurants, and some cool little things like that.
I love it. I love it. And by the way, the reason why I was hysterically laughing is because the Jersey girl, because I'm a Jersey guy, going down to Dallas as many times as I do, her mother was sitting at the table and she was like, "Get me a Pinot Grigio. Let's go."
You can only imagine. You can envision her saying it. She secured the table.
Secured it.
So
she probably cornered it, eyed it out of the corner of her eye, right?
Southern folks are probably
the nicest folks.
nice people. And then you have, the Jersey folks like running in to get a table and ordering the Pinot Grigio.
Listen, whatever works.
Whatever
right?
works.
I want to go back to the bar you spoke about. I think you said Happiest Hours or something.
Happiest
like
Hour,
that.
yes.
Yes. You spoke about mozzarella sticks and buffalo wings, and everybody thinks that it's just so easy to do those type of dishes. But I've had mozzarella sticks that have been terrible, and I've had buffalo wings
frozen
that have been
versus not frozen.
100%. Do you think this was authentic?
Authentic and very, very good. Very. We ate all weekend. There's honestly nothing to do when you're there for 72 hours. No, I don't know, 50 hours. You have to eat. You eat. And to us, we didn't stay in a place that was like, there was sights to see, there was things to do. I think actually on Sunday morning, not to bring down the mood, but we stayed right across the street also from the John F. Kennedy assassination point.
Yeah.
So
Elm Street or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
So they have the markings on the road and stuff like that. So that was kind of, we were in a little bit of a historical area.
Yeah, it's beautiful down there.
It's really nice. And they did a nice job kind of preserving and stuff like that. And
did you go into the museum?
We didn't go into the museum.
Yeah. On your next trip, you have to do that.
Yeah.
Speaking of next trips, is Dallas on the bucket list to do again?
I would go back, and I want to go to where the area the Pecan Lodge was in, and because we were at this other bar, it was just outdoors, chandeliers, outdoors, like it was just really cool. It was like sand ground. It was really cool spot.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Really,
so
really
absolutely
awesome.
would go back.
Yeah, well, Daria Peace, our Places Insider, actually talking to us about places, believe it or not, discussing Dallas, Texas, what I call my second home.
Yes.
And for Jeff, Darla, John, and Karen watching, my good friends down in Dallas, I will see you during the football season. Get your cowboy helmets ready. Maybe I'll even bring Daria and the hubby. We'll see.
As long as the Colts are playing.
As long as my birthday this year, the day before my birthday this year, Cowboys, Colts, AT&T Stadium in Dallas.
I think we have our plans.
Jeff, Darla, Karen, and John. We'll see you down there. All right, Daria, we're going to bring you back in the next few weeks. Talk about another place that you visited because you're just a traveling connoisseur. Exactly. All right. Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, folks. We will be right back.
Welcome to Hudson River Care and Counseling. Hello, I'm Dr. Pam Pater-Ennis, the CEO and founder of Hudson River Care and Counseling with over 30 years of clinical social work experience and therapy. We are a progressive counseling and coaching practice with a diverse team that brings a holistic approach to clients. We offer support both in person and through digital platforms such as telehealth. Consider us a safe haven that you can trust with care for your mental health needs. Visit our website to set up a consultation today.
Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, don't forget to go on our Facebook and our Instagram pages by searching The Pulse with Peter B. and like and follow us on each of those platforms. We're constantly updating those pages with previews of each week's segments and cool stories. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our email address at thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com.
Welcome back to this episode of The Pulse. I'm your host with the most, Josh Sotomayor Einstein, not hostess with the mostest like that bum Peter Biancamano, because I know which sex I am. And I'm so happy today to be here at Jefferson Cafe with the owner, J.efe Maruflu. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us, what's your relationship with coffee? Let's start there. Let's start hot and heavy.
Okay, so my family has been involved in coffee for many years. I would say almost a couple of centuries. The reason is my family traces back to Turkey, and Ottoman Empire back in the days, I think 1555, has the first coffee shop in the entire world.
Your family?
No, not my family,
Oh,
but
okay.
my family is involved in this. But I'm from Istanbul originally, Constantinople, and then the first coffee shop ever opened in the world was in Istanbul. So my family, my many times great grandfather, was a high-ranking statesman during the Ottoman Empire time, and then he was working with the Sultan very closely, but they had a disagreement, and I'm cutting a long story short. He was exiled to the far east corners of the Ottoman Empire, and imagine Ottoman Empire back then has borders from Middle East to Eastern Europe, Russia, everywhere. And then he was exiled to Yemen because he has a disagreement, and he, had to serve over there. Still, he was in power. I mean, he had another role in the government. But Yemen back then had one thing they grow, and everybody knew, was coffee. And it wasn't as popular as today, but coffee was grown in that region in very limited areas.
So he was on the ground floor of what would eventually become a huge industry.
Yes,
Wow.
it was. And back in the days, Yemen and Ethiopia, the Africa, has some coffee houses, and it wasn't a popular drink back then. So he went with his entourage, and coming back from Yemen, he stopped in places, Egypt, Iran, Syria. And in Syria, he was an important guy, statesman. He took two boys in his entourage going back to Istanbul because after a couple of years, he made an agreement with the Sultan, and Sultan, called him back to power.
He undid the exile.
Under the exile, yeah.
He heard that he had some really choice coffee, just like your coffee shop.
Coffee was important back then too, so he gave coffee to the Sultan. He was happy with it because it wasn't as popular as today, but the beverage was exceptional because it's like a natural 5-hour energy type of
That's
thing.
a stimulant, yeah.
And then those two boys in his entourage came to Istanbul, and they know about roasting coffee and how to make coffee, prepare coffee, brew coffee. So they opened the first coffee shop in Istanbul in 1555. That's how my relationship is.
So now how long has Jefferson Cafe been open here in town?
Not that long. We opened in 2014, and we opened right after Sandy.
Oh, wow.
Back then, like in 2012, I had a full-time job, just like yourself. I was in production world. But coffee was always in the family. And I was looking for other alternatives to start a business. And what other place than Hoboken, to start a business. But back then, this terrible storm happened, Sandy, and everything was underwater. So that was an opportunity for us because we took over the first location we have on Madison Street, which was underwater up to here.
Oh wow.
And the previous owners, it was a coffee shop,
Mhm.
never came back. And then we tried calling them, reaching them out. They never answered. They're afraid we were debt collectors or something. But we took the opportunity and opened the coffee shop over there.
Oh wow.
And we still have some flooding issues over there, but it's
Well, that's
it's okay.
Hoboken,
Yeah.
right? Right. You know, except for a couple of streets where below sea level. So what
Yeah.
are you gonna do?
but we're happy so far.
And so, how long have you had this location on Washington Street?
On Washington Street, we started in 2018, March, so almost like 4 years now, 4.5 years. We're happy with it. We have lots of involvement in Stevens College. We have lots of students coming in, academics. We give them discounts, and we have great coffee. I guess I hope so. And then since the family is all involved, my brother's a coffee roaster, by the way, so he's been roasting coffee for 15, 20 years now.
And do you roast your own coffee on site?
No, I took it from him because we wanted to roast over here, but they didn't give us the permits. So I still take it from my brother.
So your brother roasts it, and then you sell it at your coffee shop. So it's a family tradition going back hundreds of years, and also it stays in the family. It's really, really unique.
Right. And then there's one aspect of it too. My grandmother, who I have transferred all the knowledge, my knowledge from, has served coffee to many statesmen. This is many centuries after the Ottoman thing. She served coffee to the founder of modern Turkish Republic, Kemal Atatürk,
Ataturk, all right.
like equivalent of George Washington.
Oh
over
yeah,
here.
yes.
He's an important guy, but
Mhm.
he know her personally, and to this day, in my grandmother's time, it says the teacher, she was a teacher, who served Atatürk her favorite coffee.
Well, that's very, very cool. So, what sort of coffee selections, options, alternatives do you serve here right now?
Well, we mainly work with South Latin America. We bring a lot of beans from Brazil, Colombia, Costa Rica, but we have some South Asian presence too. Like we bring beans from Indonesia, Jakarta, Java Islands, which has great coffee. We serve the regular drinks like latte, cappuccinos, but we also have Turkish coffee, or some other calls Greek coffee, same thing. And we roast on our own, and we brew it, we grind it. It's usually fresh over here. And we have cold brew and iced coffee options too.
Oh,
We sell beans too.
Oh, very, very cool. And real quick, why don't you tell the viewers what we have over here?
So this is called cupping. This is for usually buyers and tasters. When you buy coffee, you want to taste it first, because coffee comes from different farms all around the world. Sometimes good, sometimes, but there's not good, bad. There's quality in different qualities. So all coffee buyers or roasters, they taste coffee before they buy it, and that's what it's called, cupping. So you put it in 3 different bowls, 8 grams of coffee, and then you take a spoon, and then I won't do it now, but you just slurp it and spit it, and then you try to come up with tasting notes, like, oh, this is very fruity, this is very chocolatey, this is very earthy, you can make up some of those too, but
Well, it sounds like what in wine they call a sommelier.
sommelier, exactly. This is called coffee grader.
Oh, very
So
cool.
and there's certifications for that. You can be a Q grader if you do a lot of cupping. It's very hard to get certifications, very expensive too, but this is how we taste and great coffee.
Oh, well, that is absolutely fantastic. Is there anything before we have to go, unfortunately, that you'd like to tell the people of Hoboken and Hudson County out there about your wonderful, wonderful place?
Well, Hoboken people were very kind to us, especially during the pandemic. They keep coming to our locations, and then we're very thankful to Stevens and all the other colleges in town. And we're very thankful to you. So far, it's good. It's been slow a couple of years right after the pandemic, but we're picking up. Just come back and then enjoy our great coffee.
I know I love coming here for a croissant, some tea, or some of the definitely wonderful different types of coffee that they have here. Well, Jeffe, thank you so much for having us, and stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Peter Biancamano back with you. Don't forget to watch us on cable access every Sunday and Monday at 9 a.m. Optimum Channel 18, Files Channel 46, and Comcast Channel 190. Also on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m., you can watch our show on our YouTube channel, and you can also binge watch all of our old shows. Who doesn't want to keep watching The Pulse with Peter B? We'll see you there. Welcome back to The Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano, and he was here last week, and you know, we just can't get rid of him anymore. And that is our Pro Wrestling Insider, Mr. Rob Tonnesen. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Like I said, I'm really starting to like Hoboken. So who knows? You keep it up, I might just, become a resident or something.
Oh, wow. He's trekking all the way from the crazy city of Bayonne now.
Yeah, I know.
Bayonne's finest right here, folks. Born and raised.
Let's not brag about that.
We love Bayonne.
Do you?
Yeah, well, we have a pretty decent audience out there.
Okay.
Anyway, it's probably Rob and his family watching, but that's a different story for a different time. All right, Rob, you said it last week. The hottest party of the summer is here. It's this Sunday, July 31st, only on Peacock, Rob's favorite streaming platform, and that is WWE Summerslam. Are you excited?
Peacocks are just geese with good social media managers.
Well, there you go.
Am I excited about SummerSlam?
Yes.
50-50.
Why is that?
I think WWE has backed themselves into an extreme corner. And last week we did mention the Vince stuff.
Yeah,
and I think the Vince stuff is playing largely into creative, where they have their set stars. They have their set people. And it to me and to a lot of the people out there that watch the product and talk about the product, where we feel like we're back in the days where there's, your Hogans, your Savages, your Undertakers, and that's it.
Okay.
And then there's, your group of mid-carders, but nobody really pays any attention to them. And we feel that we're kind of back in that same position, because the last time I was here talking about a WWE specific pay-per-view, what was the main event?
The main event was Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns.
What's the main event of SummerSlam?
Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. And you know what's interesting? Would you say that SummerSlam, I know the WWE has 4 marquee, not pay-per-views, what do they call it? Premium
live events.
Of the year. Would you say that SummerSlam is like right behind WrestleMania?
You could argue SummerSlam is definitely, I wouldn't say number 2, but I would give it a solid number 3.
Royal Rumble still?
I would say Royal Rumble, because that does kick everything off. I would say you would go Royal Rumble, you go WrestleMania, Royal Rumble. Then you could flip, you could argue SummerSlam, Money in the Bank, Survivor Series. You can argue any one of those.
All right, well, let's get to the card.
Absolutely.
Let's get to the matches that you do like, and let's start out with the tag team titles up for grabs, the Street Profits versus the Usos. I loved the way they're building up this storyline. Do you?
I do like it. If you watched last month's Money in the Bank, there was a false finish where the Street Profits maybe looked like they didn't fully lose and all this other stuff. So it builds to their SummerSlam match. And I really do enjoy what they are doing. The tag team division in WWE is starting to become a bright spot, with the Street Profits and the Usos. And I would not be surprised if this is match of the night caliber.
Nice.
And you do have the wonderful addition of the one and only WWE Hall of Famer, Double J, Jeff Jarrett, as being the special referee of the tag match, and he's pulling double duty that weekend. He will be involved in Ric Flair's last match, as we spoke of last week.
Interesting. Can you just give us the Double J model,
That's
please?
J.efe, J.A.R.R.E.T.T. That's Double J, Jeff Jarrett.
Love it. Can't forget that. Oh, yes. Forgot to laugh at the end. You spoke about this in the beginning. Oh, by the way, Street Profits or the Usos? Who do you pick?
I do feel with how they are going with everything, probably the Usos are going to retain.
Gotcha.
But I would not be surprised at all if the Street Profits win. I'm
Very
saying
interesting.
Usos to be safe, but I would not be surprised.
All right. We spoke about this at the beginning of the segment, the main events.
Yes.
Why don't we jump right to there? Of course, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. I guess the fans haven't had enough of it. I know, like, the traditionalists like you probably have had enough. But you know the WWE, if it's making money, they're going to shove it down your throat.
Since 2018, I believe this is the 11th time they have faced each other in singles or tag team
That's a lot.
matches on
That's a lot.
on premium live events, whether it be WrestleMania.
Wow, on premium live events.
Premium live events.
Wow.
So
That's averaging
two a year. Two a year. So you look at what they're doing, and it's almost getting to the point where, okay, we've seen it enough. Now you need to build new stars. I think by unifying the titles with Roman, you certainly did back yourself into a corner. I still think Roman is going to win, but they need to figure out a way to back themselves out of the corner they painted themselves in by having him be undisputed champion. Does that mean Theory cashes in? I may break my television if that happens, but it's a possibility.
Yep, because he loves Austin Theory. He loves it. Is it just Theory now?
No,
by the
it
way?
is just Theory now.
Oh, my
apparently,
apologies.
WWE Creative does not like people with two names.
All right, yeah, exactly. Who else?
You had Cesaro back then.
That's right.
Big E.
Big E.
It's no longer Kofi
Mustafa
Kingston.
Ali
Mustafa
is just
Ali
is
is
just
just
Mustafa
Ali.
Ali.
We can go,
Excuse
we
me,
can go
yeah.
on and on.
All right, so now let's talk about a women's match: Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey. I like that Liv Morgan is getting a little bit of a push here.
The Ronda Rousey experiment has failed.
Why is that?
Ronda Rousey 2.0 has failed in WWE, and they don't want to admit it.
Okay.
There was a wonderful YouTube video which ended up going viral. It's on Twitter, it's on TikTok, it's on Instagram, of Michael Cole and Pat McAfee reacting to Liv Morgan cashing in on Ronda Rousey. And the pure joy of them being so excited for Liv was something that was awesome. Liv Morgan, they hate to see a Jersey girl win.
Exactly.
Liv Morgan.
Where in Jersey is she from?
She's up in near the Ridgefield Park area. I'm not 1,000% sure, but she does have a 201 area code because that was her original gimmick when she came in.
Oh, okay. I thought Rob knew her personally. You know what I'm saying?
No.
All right. So you said Liv Morgan or Ronda Rousey?
I do think Liv Morgan is going to retain.
Awesome.
And as I said last week, don't be surprised if on Friday at SmackDown, Monday the next night at Raw, or at SummerSlam itself, you do see a return of somewhat of Bayley, whether that be the hugger Bayley or whether that be
Heel Bayley.
the heel Bayley. I do think she's coming back within the next couple of weeks.
Interesting. All right. Now, you mentioned him before, and of course, he's talking about the former Indianapolis Colts punter, and that is Pat McAfee has a match at SummerSlam against Happy Corbin. He's been doing, first of all, let's start with how he's been doing as a color commentator on SmackDown. Yay or nay?
Yay.
Oh, yes.
Yay.
Okay, interesting.
Yay.
Now, as a wrestler against Happy Corbin.
Yay as well.
Really?
Yay as well.
Wow.
This is actually something that I've turned around on. I did not like the celebrity involvement that's been going on in professional wrestling, especially in WWE. But I have to give credit where credit is due. Bad Bunny showing up in the Royal Rumble earlier this year.
He did very well,
Fantastic.
I thought. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Pat McAfee had a great match against Theory and Vince McMahon at WrestleMania.
That's right.
And Pat McAfee will go down in history as the last ever person to take a Stone Cold Stunner.
Is that
If Austin,
is that official word?
If
or?
Austin never gets in the ring, Pat McAfee is the last person to take a stunner.
But let me ask you a question. Do you think Austin will become like Ric Flair?
I hope not.
And where he's just looking to cash in later on in his career.
But I do like the McAfee Corbin storyline. I think McAfee's going to go over, but it's a great story because both Pat McAfee and Happy Corbin were roommates for the Indianapolis Colts.
Interesting.
They were both roommates.
Did not know that.
Yes.
All right. So you do like Pat McAfee, you
Yes.
said. All right. You heard it here first, Rob. Rob's picks. Rob, is there any other match that you would say sticks out at you?
I would love to say, it hasn't been announced yet, but Gunther, Shinsuke Nakamura.
Loved it.
Because as a personal fan of both men's techniques, the strong style, the king of strong style, Shinsuke Nakamura, plus Gunther, who has one of the hardest chops in the business. Go on YouTube and research him, and when his chops you feel them and they hurt.
That is awesome. All right, well, Rob Tonnesen, our Pro Wrestling Insider, thanks again for coming on 2 weeks in a row. I love it.
It's my pleasure, and whenever you want me to sit in as a host,
look at that.
Let me know.
Everybody's trying to take over my job,
Oh,
you know?
you
I
know.
mean, unbelievable. That is SummerSlam, WWE Summerslam, airing tonight, because today is, of course, July 31st, at 7 p.m. only on Peacock.
yes,
Streaming on Peacock. Thanks again. I really appreciate
my
it.
pleasure.
All right, folks. Join us next week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. I'm Peter Biancamano. I hope you have a great week, everybody.